International Performance Register. This is your edge. This is your insight. This is NPR. Let's go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the NPR Performance Pod. It's been a long time. Andrew, it's been long.
It has been a long time, Brad. It seems like we've had a bit of a break.
We did take a break. Lots of things are happening. So, yeah, look at this, guys. We've got a studio. And the reason is because the feedback has been so good, Andrew. So, the budget has just been poured into us. We've got these cool new desks that we can move around. Mm-hmm. I've always had this, but it looks like it's a new addition. This beautiful sign. And we've even got a new camera setup. I love it.
Yeah.
Feels like we're upgrading. Also, you don't know, is that because it's been going so well and we are powered by ETA, we've merged accounts sort of. So we now live within another bubble because we were so good. So congrats to you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go. What a way to figure that out.
Thanks. Good to know. It's always good to know.
It's good to know. So that's where you live right now. And other than that, you've been in India.
I have, yes. I spent a couple of weeks in India.
What were you doing there?
Living. I've done it for the last sort of 8 to 10 years. I head up one of their sports centers. They've got a big sports science center in Chennai, which is sort of middle to the southern part of India. It's quite an interesting story, if you've got a minute.
I think that's why we're here.
About 12 or 14 years ago, the owners of this, because it's all a private institution, it's a medical university that's privately run, and the owners wanted to open up a sports science institute. And what they did is they traveled around the world, and they actually came to Cape Town, and they realized that they really liked the look and feel of the Sports Science Institute down in Cape Town.
Like sports science?
Like sports science, yeah. So what they decided to do is they actually wanted to buy the building. But they couldn't, so the trade-off was they found the architect, the company that designed the Sports Science Institute, and they basically took one or two of their members over to India, and they redesigned the architecture for an Indian environment. But when you go and work there, it almost looks, it's actually crazy how similar it looks.
To sports science?
To sports science.
I remember we had a video call. And it did look similar.
Yeah, so it's a lovely place, and so I've been involved in there right from sort of the get-go. From they got involved with sports science many years ago, and we've put in equipment, and my job now is just to make sure that we carry on teaching. One of the things, and we have mentioned it in one of our podcasts in the past, is that it's very easy, and that's what happens in a place like India, where they subcontract expertise around the world. So up until quite recently, you'd have seen, especially in the cricket side, a lot of their coaches have been foreigners, Gary Kirsten being one of them. There were a couple of Australians before as well, and generally what happens is they bring in their culture. So Gary Kirsten as a coach would have brought in a culture that would be more South African, that it would be more Indian. And certainly from a physiological perspective, my experience over the last 10 or 15 years is that I can't take the physiology of what makes a South African cricketer or a sportsman, and I can't take it to a place like India and say that's what you should be doing, because they're a unique population group, and what makes them good is not the same prerequisites or physiology that makes a South African cricketer or sportsman good. So it's
off the top of your head, what physiology makes an Indian cricketer good?
Their variety, and the fact that there are millions of them, and they specialize particularly early in a lot of sports. So that's not really physiology, but they really do. They have a huge attention to detail and dedication for years and years and years. So that's sort of been my history there, and I still continue to teach, and we are sort of creating an Indian method and an Indian way and an Indian set of normative data. So again, it talks around a lot to what we talk about around creating information and data that is relevant to that particular population group. Because as I said, I can go there and I can say, right, I've worked in this group of people in South Africa or in Australia or in New Zealand, wherever it might be, and I can't go and compare that to what happens in India, because their results and their data is quite different.
And they take testing quite seriously. It's happening a lot.
Yeah, they
more
do.
than here.
No, yeah, they do. Because the numbers are so big, a large part of their screening process, so their development and their talent identification, they have to rely on something that's a little bit more objective. And they have these things that are government funded. There's a project called Kelo India, which is funded by the government in each provinces, and they go out and they identify talent from 13, 14 years of age, and they put money into these people. And so what they would do is they would get young athletes, young sports people, and they'd put them into these centers, and they'd house them, and they'd educate them, and they'd be trained. So at this particular center, our center of excellence deals with rowing, weightlifting, and hockey. So we get these Kelo India athletes that are anywhere between 13 and 18 years of age, and they come and they train with us. But they also got a school in the area, they've got a local school, and they get managed and monitored. And that's government funded. So obviously, the money makes a big difference. Funding makes a massive difference. So I've been involved with that, right for about 10 or 12 years. And so now I go and I lecture. I provide some sort of input around sports science if it's valuable anymore. And then I head up their high performance center, which for me is fantastic. I mean, the sport codes that I deal with are totally different to here. I mean, fencing is one of them that I haven't read, to be honest. I haven't had much experience with fencing and shooting. But I just find them incredibly interesting.
So when a fencer comes up to you and goes like, hey, now my rotator cuff's a bit sore.
Well, yeah, then I send them off to the doctor. But it's more around, for me, it's more around the training around it, and because a lot of the fences that are in India actually are based in Europe. So they're not based locally, but because they are Indian nationals, they have to be monitored by an Indian university. So I get to monitor them. So I'm actually learning a lot of that. We've got a very strong shooting academy that's based at the center itself, and the head of that is an ex-Olympic gold medalist. But one of the things that I learned that I never knew, when they shoot those rifles, and they're standing rifles, those rifles weigh 7 kilos.
Whoa!
So to be able to shoot a target 20 or 40 meters away and to hold a kilogram rifle in your hand, you've got to be really quite strong. Then there are all techniques to it, and their clothing that they wear, and so it's just an incredibly interesting scenario for me.
That's awesome. Welcome back. Good to have you back. What's happened my side? We tested, I'm going to stop swinging in the chair, but this just feels so comfy. We tested the South African Rugby League Springboks. Brilliant. Which, how cool is that? It's not even a very big sport here yet, but we did a test on the athletes, amazing group. And I think they're playing a game at the end of this month or the beginning of November. And if they beat the team they're playing, they will qualify for the South African Rugby League World Cup next year.
Okay. So that more is like a World Cup.
I don't know why I said South African Rugby League World Cup. They'll qualify for the Rugby League World Cup.
Okay. As an African nation.
As an African,
okay. Cool.
And it's actually very cool, the structure that they're doing there. I was like, what do we know about Rugby League? But they've sent a lot of the New Zealand guys over, they recruit, and then they send them back to New Zealand and Australia, and they're training. It's very interesting. Yeah, so that's that.
It sounds quite similar to how TAG sort of formed initially.
We
a lot of guys from the UK, they come out here, they helped Stuart and them, and now we're up and running.
And we just tested on Sunday. We tested the tag box again. It was a big day.
Just say that's like the tag box.
The tag box.
Tag box.
Tag box, like the spring box.
Box.
Yeah, they're called the tag box.
Okay. Tag box. The bokke.
The bokke.
Okay.
Raak bokke. The tag box.
Okay.
BOKS.
I got it. Yeah.
Not the box.
Yeah.
The tag box, and it was good. We tested 3 teams. They're sending over a men's team, a ladies team, and a mixed team, and it was very good. There was some crazy.
We have tested them in the past. So what is the data looking like? I mean, can you tell us a little bit about it?
I don't have it on hand, but I can tell you that it's looking good. There are some
fast,
crazy fast people. There was someone did a Bronco in 4:28, which is quite fast. He was pushing. So it's 1.2 kilometers in under 4.5 minutes, which is pretty good. I think the best time we've ever had at NPR was around 4:16. There was a kid in Wynberg.
Wow.
Who was just a long distance.
That's fast.
He just sprinted. And then, some incredible fast 40 meters under 5 seconds. So I think they got it. They trying to fundraise for the World Cup next year.
Anybody remember?
Please, guys, come on. Give them money. They're representing us, and they're great. And they're a lovely bunch of people. So do that. That's sort of what's happening my side. And then waiting for you to get back so we can talk about all the things that have happened.
There's lots going on.
There's lots going on. What's happened since you've been gone? The Ryder Cup happened.
Yeah.
That was a vibe.
Yeah.
It felt like watching real world Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Happy Gilmore.
No.
It was more grumpy Gilmore and aggressive Gilmore.
But I don't know, I kind of enjoyed it. I thought, it's not good for the sport, I don't think. It's not very classy. But there was something about McIlroy walking around.
I think golf has always been one of those sports where it's like a gentleman's game.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of etiquette and you don't overstep the mark. So I think there's always that. And I mean, the Ryder Cup has always been, acrimonious at best. I do sense, though, that I think the Americans...
They went too far.
Just a little bit too far. And, somebody throwing a Coke can or a Coke bottle or whatever at his wife and...
It looks like, I saw a video, it looked like shame, that poor guy, because he'll go down as the person who threw a beer bottle at McIlroy's wife, but it looked like someone sort of smacked it out of his hand.
Yeah.
But
look, I do think, I watched a bit of it, and I mean, the golf was phenomenal, but...
bad for the sport, but it was entertaining.
Yeah, I just don't know how what I would like to know is, so you go to a competition like that, and you separate it based on, you're European or you're American. What happens at the next tournament where all of a sudden you're just playing and you get into it, you get into your pair again, and all of a sudden an American's playing with a European? Are you just mates again? Like, I'd love to know how that dynamic works.
Yeah, because they were going at each other.
You go from being sort of really, really acrimonious, and there's a lot of animosity between the two of you, to suddenly thinking, well, okay, it's all okay. I struggle with that, and I think
Well, when's the next one? We need to look. We need to go check it out.
Yeah, well, it'll just be the next tournament. But yeah, I found that quite incredible to watch. I think it was right that the Europeans thumped them.
Oh, yeah.
I think they were just playing much better golf, and with it being on American home soil, I think it was just sort of poetic justice that the Americans lost.
It was so out the blue because I wasn't following, and then to read the news and then getting on Twitter and looking at the clips, it's like, whoa!
Yeah, they came out strong.
Crazy. And then we won the Rugby Championships, which was quite amazing.
Who would have thought?
Go Rassie!
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Yeah, look, I think there's periods in any coach's life where we go through a bit of a lull. I know at the beginning of the season, there were one or two closer games, and people started to question, the validity of the older squad, and the older guys and the older players. Sometimes it's just, you just got to let it play out.
Oh, we are going.
I also think some of the younger players, some of the newbies, ended up standing up.
Biceps. Sasha.
Sasha, he stood out. Again, I think he's got... I hear a lot of people talking about, he's going to be absolutely brilliant. I think he's still got a lot to learn. He's still got a lot he needs to be consistent. This last sort of weekend, he wasn't as good as he was the weekend before.
The Stormers.
Yeah, the Stormers, and then the last game.
Yes,
the last game they played against Argentina in the UK. And I think there's sometimes they just are conditions, environmental conditions that won't play to his forte. But I think as he matures, and that's the thing, as he matures as a player, I think he's going to get better.
Yeah.
But he has to be allowed to mature.
Yeah.
And I don't think people should put him up right now and say that's the
guy.
That's the pinnacle. I think he could be the guy. But like with everything, could be, should be, would be.
Yeah, let's not Patrick Lambie.
Whether he becomes the guy is going to be another scenario.
And what about Cheslin's try? Man, I literally ran. That was so funny. I feel so bad for the guy.
Cheslin was a little bit like a Jekyll and Hyde. I get a sense, he had that in that one game. He had that drop kick.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, his drop kick that he scored, and so
the drop kick that they scored.
Sorry, yeah. So, but look, I think.
Do you think he was taking the drop off, or do you think he was just passing to our guys?
I don't know. But again, I think in the rules of rugby, he drop kicked the ball from behind his line, so I suppose it was game on. Yeah. I don't think that it was. I would like to think that wasn't his that wasn't what he anticipated.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Shame, that must have been a tough
time. It would have been tough if we'd lost the championship.
Yeah. Did you see the videos with Rassie afterwards celebrating after their big night? You see him just lying there with the trophies. Did you see that video?
Yeah, and I think that's what I like about him.
He's so normal.
He doesn't hide his personality, and he doesn't hide his fallibility either.
No.
He's you watch Chasing the Sun, and then you watch some of the videos about him, behind the scenes, and he comes hard at these guys. You know, he comes hard at these players when he needs to, and yet he seems to also just have them. You know, he seems to.
No, he's.
I think he's
Papa
got.
Bear.
I think he's got quite a lot of EQ in order just to manage that. So not quite a lot. He's got a massive amount of EQ, because I think it could be quite difficult as a coach to manage those players, especially at that level.
Well, because he can cuck them out.
And I think he does it. I think he does it really well.
You see this clip? I don't know if I think I can hear the sound. Yeah, I'm just going to play it here. Look at this.
Oh, every morning I wake up, I was a champion.
I was a champion.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. No, he's amazing.